Welcome in to an impromptu live stream on this Wednesday evening. Just got some breaking news about a couple hours ago, and I thought to come on here and express my opinion as well as get your opinion regarding the Giannis Antetokounmpo rumors. So this is a big story, ladies and gentlemen. No matter how you feel about it, no matter if you want to do the trade, no matter if you don't want to do the trade, this is a major story because it involves the New York Knicks. It involves Giannis wanting to come to New York. And anytime you have one of the best players in the NBA, top three, want to be a New York Knick, it's a big story. So appreciate every single one of you guys tuning in. I know many people are live right now. Once again, appreciate you for rocking with me over in the Knicks Nation channel. If you're rewatching this, hello. Make sure you subscribe to the channel and the whole nine. And let's get started. So let me start by going down what came out today. So what came out today regarding the New York Knicks? Hey, there's me on the screen. Hello. So this is from Shams Charania. He says, Giannis Antetokounmpo and his agent have started conversations with the Milwaukee Bucks about two-time NBA MVP's future and discussing whether his best fit is staying in Milwaukee or going elsewhere. Now, if you guys remember, I want to take this back to the summer in August. Everyone got on Shams for revealing the story that Giannis wanted to be a Knick. Everyone was like, oh, I don't believe him. Well, it's true because it was confirmed today from Brian Windhorst as well. So there was a 2-week period where Giannis said to the Milwaukee Bucks, I want to be a New York Knick, right? I want to be a New York Knick. The Knicks had their 2-week window. They decided we're not going to trade for Giannis. Let's keep the core. Let's roll with the core. Let's see what happens, right? So they decided to roll with the core. Many Knicks fans agree with that statement, but now here we are. The Bucks are terrible. Giannis is only getting older. Giannis wants to win. Giannis wants to win now. So here is Brian Windhorst on Giannis Antetokounmpo already asking for a trade.
The Knicks and asked for an offer for Giannis. Okay,
the
Bucks called the Knicks and asked for an offer for Giannis. Okay, because Giannis said, I want to be a Knick. So people are like, oh my God, he deleted a photo from May where he had a Bucks logo in it. Guys, he asked to be traded already.
Yeah. So when's it going to happen?
Well, that's the thing. So what appears is that Giannis committed himself for the season to the Bucks. That's what appeared happened. Everything he said in his mood. But the Bucks are not good. This year, when he hasn't played, they're 1-5. And when he has played, they're 9-8. So they've been 500 when he's played, and when he hasn't played, they've been getting raced. What you're asking me is his viewpoint, would his viewpoint change? I don't know.
So the Bucks called the Knicks. He's pretty much confirming what exactly Shams Charania said.
Outside of Milwaukee, there was a 2-week
in the summer. Now here's Shams confirming that report. Once again, I'm going to give my opinion. Just bear with me for 1 second. Here's Shams confirming that report. And here we go. Shams is big on the screen.
Exclusive negotiating window. No deal occurred. Team that he was open to being traded to, that he desired outside of Milwaukee. There was a 2-week exclusive negotiating window. No deal occurred. And if this does end up going down that path where a trade is explored in season is going to be well beyond just the Knicks.
So, since the New York Knicks did not get a deal done regarding Giannis, Shams is now saying it is going to be well beyond the New York Knicks. Now, whether or not you want to believe that, Giannis has all the power here. Giannis has all the power. He can say to the Bucks, I still want to be a Knick. Maybe the Knicks communicated to him, just wait till next summer where we can offer a better package and we can offer more players and just be patient. But Giannis is not patient, clearly. I mean, the Bucks stink. They're not going anywhere. And I think he is trying to speed up this process because he doesn't want to sit another year of not contending. He wants to win. He wants to win an NBA title, right? So, once again, appreciate you guys in the chat. El Figgy, Yuri, appreciate every single one of you guys. I got the poll up in the YouTube chat. I said, is Giannis worth pushing all the chips for? So far, 12 votes. Yes, go all in is at 46%. No, keep the current core is at 31%. Not sure yet is at 23%. I tweeted this on the Knicks Nation page on the X account, right? This is what I tweeted. This is from Alan Hahn, by the way. Alan Hahn said this: if it were me, nobody's dominating the East. Nobody seems like they're beating the Thunder. If I'm the Knicks and I have a chance to get Giannis and don't want to lose him, again, you don't want to lose him to another team, the hell with it. You pair him with Brunson and see what happens. He also prefaced by saying that it will be extremely difficult for the New York Knicks to get a deal done with Giannis. And here is the article saying that basically the New York Knicks were the only team Giannis wanted to play for, and there was a multi-week period and nothing got done regarding that. And here is what I said. I think it's time. Like I said, Giannis wants the Knicks. If you're Leon Rose, how do you not explore every avenue and check every box to try to get him before anyone jumps me, right? Because I know people are disagreeing. Before anyone jumps me, he's Giannis. He's an all-time great. This is not the Carmelo Anthony trade, ladies and gentlemen. Carmelo Anthony wasn't considered the best player in the NBA at the time, right? He wasn't. That's it. That's the tweet, right? So here we are on December 3rd, 5:31 p.m. The New York Knicks are just coming off a loss to the Boston Celtics. And what Alan Hahn said, nobody is dominating the East. The Knicks they've struggled against the Magic. Granted, they haven't been healthy. They've struggled against the Miami Heat. Beat the Cavs. But they've struggled against the Celtics. They just lost against the Celtics. So no one is really taking the East by a stranglehold. Nobody, right? And in a year where this is a championship or bust season, those are the words from Ian Begley. Championship or bust season for the New York Knicks, right? In my opinion, if Giannis wants to be a New York Knick, you find every way possible to get that trade done. Every way. Now, I want to put a little asterisk on that. In my opinion, I'm not touching Mikal Bridges. Obviously, I'm not touching Jalen Brunson. But everyone else is tradable. Right? I'm not touching Brunson. I'm not touching Mikal. Right? So whether or not you agree with me, it's just my opinion. Look, it's just my opinion. I'm coming on here with a platform and, you guys can disagree with me, but the Knicks have to get creative here. It's hard to say no to an MVP candidate that wants to be a Knick, that wants New York, that wants the market of New York City. And it's hard to say no to saying that. It'll be easy to say no if the New York Knicks were dominating the East and they were clearly looked head above heels above everybody and they were just rolling through the East and, smoking teams, it's hard to say yes to Giannis because then I can be like, oh, hold up here. This team can win a championship. But lately, I've questioned that. I've questioned whether this New York Knicks team can win an NBA championship. I have. When you have losses to the Magic, when you have losses to the Heat, when you have losses like last night to the Celtics, I know you're missing guys, but no excuses, right? I question that. And that's the goal, right? That's the goal, right? The Knicks don't look like a dominant team in the Eastern Conference. They don't. In a gap year for most teams, this was supposed to be a gap year for the Celtics, and they're like a game back in the New York Knicks, right? At the end of the day, I don't think anyone's beating the Thunder. That's just my personal opinion. But Giannis wants to be here, right? He wants to be here. And if Leon Rose and a front office are saying, nah, man, we're good, they better be right. They better be right. They better be right about this team. Especially when one of the all-time greats wants to be a New York Knick. And you're saying no to that? First of all, that seems kind of like, I don't know. It feels kind of wrong. At least dance with Milwaukee. See what they want. Once again, it will be extremely difficult to get a Giannis trade done in the middle of the season, which is why they came to you in the summer. Once again, appreciate you guys in the chat. Smash the like button. Subscribe if you haven't done so already. So, I think if Giannis is available, if I'm Leon Rose and I'm looking at the Eastern Conference right now and I'm looking at this Knicks team, and I don't know, man. I don't know. I've had some reservations about this Knicks team. Yes, they've had some good wins this year, but they haven't been dominant, right? They haven't been dominant. Cat has looked okay. Defensively looks shady, doesn't get back. OG Anunoby's hurt currently. Was having a career season. By the way, Mikal Bridges is currently having a career season. Jalen Brunson is, playing well, had a bad game versus Boston. But what is the goal? Is the goal first round, second round, Eastern Conference Finals? That's not the goal. That's not what we were told. The goal is to reach the NBA Finals. Because if this Knicks team gets bounced in either the first, second, or Eastern Conference Finals in a year when Giannis Antetokounmpo is pretty much at your doorstep begging you to come get him, and if the Knicks team disappoints, that, my friends, is not a good look at all. At all. I'm not saying that's going to happen, but now you have this Giannis thing hovering over you. Now you have this Giannis thing where he clearly wants to be a Knick, and right now you're this team is like, I don't know what to make this team. Right? But some interesting stuff, guys. Some interesting stuff. Appreciate you guys in the chat. Let's see what you guys are saying right now in the chat. Yuri, what do you think? Yuri says, I want a Knicks title. If it takes to give up Cat, do it. El Figgy says, you're not taking prime Giannis. El Figgy, Giannis is still Giannis. He was on a minute restriction versus the Knicks in Madison Square Garden and damn near put up a triple-double. He is still dominant, right? In my opinion, when you have Jalen Brunson and Giannis on the same team, you're walking into a playoff series with guaranteed two of the best players on the court, right? Especially in the East. Guaranteed. You have already two of the best players on the court. And if you manage to keep Mikal, which I desperately want, because if they're going to ask for the sun and the moon, obviously no, right? It's obviously, this is all like kind of like hypotheticals. Like if they're going to ask, they're probably going to ask for a lot. But if you can somehow get it done with Cat, OG, maybe a third team involved, and, you get Giannis back, a bad expiring on their end, or Josh Hart, I know they're going to want Josh Hart, then who knows? But I just feel kind of weary, like saying no to Giannis Antetokounmpo, right? GG says, stay with Cat. Melo was top 5. Melo was not on Giannis's level. I'm telling you that. Iron says, you willing to trade OG Anunoby, Ant? You have to give to get. Giannis Antetokounmpo is an all-time great. I am keeping Jalen Brunson, and I am pairing Jalen Brunson with an all-time great. Right? I am. If you can keep one of the wings, which I don't even think that'll work, because they'll probably ask for both of them. But if you can keep at least one of the wings, there's trade packages out there. I'll go through my tweets. There's trade packages out there that have Cat staying on the New York Knicks, right? Let me just post this in the chat. I saw this on Twitter, and this was interesting to me. There's trade packages that have Cat staying on the New York Knicks. Tony says, so what is the reason to keep Cat? Someone answer that. The reason to keep Cat is that it is only the second year of this group, and it'll be extremely reactionary to trade him after he's only been here a year and a half, and he's just starting to have chemistry with the guys. He's just starting to get his feet wet in New York, and then you ship him to Milwaukee. Look, guys, it's not a coincidence that Karl-Anthony Towns played like hot garbage against the Milwaukee Bucks in both of the games we played them, right? Second game, he closed the game out pretty well, but it's not a coincidence. He doesn't want to be in Milwaukee. Like, they didn't extend him for a reason, right? They're keeping their options open. Nostalgic, what's going on? Appreciate you in the chat. L Figure says, look, we had to get Cat because losing Hartenstein tied our hands, but he's worked out great. We may not win the first year with the new coach, but losing a major piece like Cat is a gamble. L Figure, it's not so much of a gamble when you're acquiring an all-time great, right? It's not so much of a gamble. And I don't even care about the spacing issues because people bring that up. Giannis can't shoot threes. Guys, I don't care. He can get to the basket better than anyone in the NBA. Right? Nostalgic says Mikal staying. Tony says Giannis protects the rim, rebounds, gets to the line, plays defense way more than a Cat will ever do. Eddie says this trade will not help us. Elfie says, bro, can't co-sign trading Hart, OG, and or Karl-Anthony Towns. Look, this Knicks team is fun. We love our Knicks, right? But how many years is fun going to cut it, right? How many years is a couple of rounds, you get past a couple of rounds of the playoffs going to cut it, when clearly this was supposed to be the year where the Knicks dominate the East and make it out the East. They still can. Like, it's December. They still can when healthy, right? But all I'm saying is that Leon Rose and the front office now have a decision to make. They have a really big decision to make. Do we trust this Knicks team wholeheartedly, healthy, to make it to the NBA Finals? And not only make it to the NBA Finals, is this current Knicks team beating the Thunder team? I don't think so. Right? I've already seen the Knicks struggle against the Heat. I've seen the Knicks struggle against the Orlando Magic. Again, playoffs is a different game, right? Playoffs is a different animal. I totally can see that this Knicks team making it all the way to the Eastern Conference Finals, and whoever, is at the end, so be it. But if your goal is to win an NBA championship and you constantly fail to reach that goal and fail to reach the NBA Finals, then what are we doing here? Like, are we just building a sustained winner, which is fine for some people, which is fine for Knicks fans who have been in the gutter for years and years and years, and they don't care. They just want to see this Knicks team win. Or, like Ian Begley said before the season, this Knicks team, this Knicks regime believes that, they can win an NBA title. They can win an NBA championship. Well, all I got to say is if Giannis Antetokounmpo is available and you say no, and then you get bounced in the second or third round, there are people going to be questioning your job. That's all I'm saying. Because that would be a massive failure, in my opinion, right? Again, if you look at the East, Nobody has seemed to be dominating. Nobody. Bunch of teams bunched in 14-9, 13-7, bunch of teams. Nobody has really taken a stranglehold like the Oklahoma City Thunder and dominated yet. Nobody has hit their stride. Nobody has, you had the Atlanta Hawks. You have, obviously the Cavs are reeling right now. The Magic are playing really well. But if you have an opportunity to get Giannis Antetokounmpo, you have to, in my opinion, get creative. And it is so hard to say no to an MVP candidate. So hard. Right? And I said this back in the summer. I said the same thing back in the summer. Giannis wants to be a Knick. If you say no, and if you continue to play out the season and then you fail, that's a bad look. Right? So the next question is, how do we get here? How do we get here? How do we get to a Giannis trade? And I'm going to go through some trades for you guys, but hit some of your comments before I do that. Once again, Giannis Antetokounmpo is frustrated in Milwaukee and seemingly wants to be moved. I'm going to go through some trades in a second, so bear with me for 1 second. But here is Ramona Shelburne on the New York Knicks possibly trading for Giannis.
I'm going to say this. I don't know if this can happen during the year. I really thought the Lakers were in play for him at some point. I don't know how they would do that during the year. Right? Does that make sense?
No. Explain what you mean.
Well, it's going to take a lot to get him, right?
Right.
Like, they're not going to trade a guy this good in the middle of the year without a significant return. We're talking 4 or 5 first-round picks, good young player.
Yeah, but the Lakers don't have 4 or 5 first-round
picks. That's the problem. And so
who does?
Atlanta does. I think Orlando does. The Knicks don't have 4 or 5, but they could get him. I mean, teams like any team you think of.
I'll tell you this right now. If the Lakers get Giannis, I'm done. I'm done with the league. That would be a travesty for the league if the Lakers get Giannis. I'm done. Oh, man. We have a Knicks game tonight, by the way. We have a Knicks game tonight. You're now seeing all the Photoshop images of Giannis Antetokounmpo in a New York Knicks uniform. But right now the question is: do you want Giannis or do you want to stick with the core? Let me try to see if, because I know Brian Windhorst has more sound bites. Try to see if I can get that for you guys. All right, so I can't find it, but here is a trade package that I saw on X and I thought was interesting. This is from Lee Escobedo. Hope I'm pronouncing his name right. Really good follow on X. Let me just make this a little bit bigger. So let's get into the trade packages now, right? So he says, to clarify on Giannis, I am against any large-scale midseason trades. I prefer to win the chip this year with this current roster. And then he says, I am also against the Cat for Giannis swap because Giannis cannot or should not play the 5, and Mitch is a horrible front court partner. So he proposes this to the Milwaukee Bucks: OG Anunoby, Tyler Kolek, Yabu, Deuce, Josh Hart, and a bunch of picks. To the New York Knicks: Giannis, Thanasis, Cole Anthony, Gary Trent, Prince, Coffee. I think the Bucks laugh at this and they don't even consider it. Right? I think they ultimately want young players, picks, and maybe a young budding star and maybe a star, and you can give them Karl-Anthony Towns, and maybe they ship off Karl-Anthony Towns to another team. But like I said, I don't think that this is going to happen during the season, but this is starting to heat up. Like, this is the type of trade. There's so many moving parts because the New York Knicks are in their first apron, so they are very restricted on what they can do. So There's a trade package out there with both of the wings, Mikal Bridges and OG Anunoby, with a young piece like a deuce and a bunch of picks for Giannis. This way you keep Cat and pair Cat with Giannis and Brunson, and then you just fill out your roster from there. I think that will kind of bear out your roster. But again, it's about who do you think will get past the Pistons, the Magic, the Cavs? Do you think that trio would do it? Or do you just make the easy swap? Because if Giannis wants to be a Knick, he has all the leverage. If he goes to the Milwaukee Bucks and say, I want to be a New York Knick, there's honestly nothing they can do. He's done nothing for good for that city. He's won an NBA championship for that city. If he's saying he wants to be a New York Knick, then the Milwaukee Bucks are probably going to appease him. They're probably going to trade him to where he wants to go. And that's where the New York Knicks have some leverage to get this done in season. And that's when you can possibly trade a Karl Anthony Towns and one of the wings along with it's gonna be a lot, guys. It's going to be a lot. But are you willing to dish out a lot to get a great? To pair a great with Jalen Brunson? Are you willing to do that? Because again, this is not about the regular season. I don't care how many wins the Knicks win this season. I don't. We've been scratching at the surface, right? Last year, bad taste in our mouth. This is essentially a gap year for the East. Indiana lost Halliburton. The Boston Celtics are still good without Jason Tatum, right? And with Jason Tatum, they're still a finals contender, right? So do you think this Knicks team can win an NBA championship? And even if you have a doubt in your mind this year, you also have to think for the future. But if you have a doubt in your mind, then you have to explore this. You have to. I feel dirty saying no to Giannis. I know he wants to be a Knick. There's a reason why he returned a couple of games ago against us to play in Madison Square Garden. He loves New York. And something intrigues me about pairing him with Jalen Brunson. Because you are walking into a playoff series with two of the best players on the court right off the bat. Right off the bat. Here we have a tweet from Ian Begley, who says, nothing has changed on New York and Giannis Antetokounmpo front. The Knicks will be one of his desired landing spots if he and Milwaukee part ways. Logic tells you he need Milwaukee to work with him on a trade in order to end up in New York. Could also use contract leverage to land in New York. Big hurdles to clear, in my opinion. Big hurdles, right? And Karl Anthony Towns did not extend with the New York Knicks at his deadline. He didn't. He did not extend with the New York Knicks. And if you think for a second that that doesn't mean anything, I think it does. Because then he becomes less desirable. If you extend Cat at an absurd number, he becomes less desirable to a team. There's reasons for everything. There's reasons why Mikal Bridges signed his extension so he can be eligible to be traded the day before the trade deadline in February. They're leaving their options open, right? Again, the way Mikal Bridges is playing right now, I'm not trading him. I'm not trading him. I'm not trading him. LV, if you want to hop on here, come hop on here. Let's debate this a little bit. LV says not willing to blow up the core for him. Giannis will not be enough to beat OKC. Does OKC fear this team? Or if Giannis Antetokounmpo put fear in opponents? Does Giannis put fear in opponents? Does Cat put fear in anyone? We're all not wrong here. Like, this is just a healthy debate. This Knicks team isn't beating OKC. Nobody is. I think they're going to repeat. I do. I said Knicks, OKC in the finals. That's what I said. And I had the Oklahoma City winning. But this Giannis thing is interesting, man. And there's a reason why Leon Rose dabbled it in this summer. He didn't ultimately do it. Maybe he believed in his team, right? But again, El Figgy says, hallelujah, LV, the voice of reason. El Figgy likes LV because he's agreeing with her. I disagree with El Figgy. If Giannis is available, I think you get him. I think you got to get him. I think you got to get him. Because I can't handle Giannis being out there and this Knicks team getting bounced in the second or third round. And then what? Then what? What are we doing? Right? So, that's the news of the day. Giannis Antetokounmpo wants to be a New York Knick, and the Knicks seemingly look like they are staying pat as of now, right? As of now. But, you know, things have been surprising in the past. You know, Leon Rose has made some surprising trades, right? He wanted Karl-Anthony Towns. He got him. He wanted OG Anunoby. He got him. He wanted Josh Hart. He got him. Does he want Giannis? Does he want Giannis? Again, it depends. Let me try to pull up LV probably bounced. He probably bounced. Joel says we regret it if he goes to another team. I'd be lying to you. If he goes to the Heat, like, he'd have the assets to get him. I just don't know that they have the mano-y-mano in a playoff series. Like, that's the lure that's attracting me. Him paired with Jalen Brunson. LV says, we made it to the Eastern Conference Finals with this squad. Did you forget? We don't stink, but we lose everything. You make this deal. This will set us back. Hey, I disagree. I disagree. This will set us back. Like, what sets us back? If we get bounced in the second round, does that set us back? Or are we just going to keep rolling with this team out here? Just keep rolling it back. Keep running it back. Right? Last time I thought the goal is to win a championship. The goal is not to make it to the Eastern Conference Finals. Giannis puts fear in teams. And Brunson. And you would have two of them on the same team. Right? Yes, we did make it to the Eastern Conference Finals, guys. We did. I love that team. We win game one, it's a different story, right? But we lost. And the Pacers knocked us out 2 years in a row. Now there's no Pacers, right? All I'm saying is that if one of these teams surprises us again and knocks us out, then what are we really doing here? Like, then there's a problem with this team. Something needs to change. You change the coach, right? Again, it's still super early. We're talking like we know what's going to happen in April and May. But if you guys don't think for a second these are the conversations the Knicks front office is having right now currently, you're wrong. I know some people want Giannis. Some people want to roll with this team. I'm just a part of the crowd that wants an all-time great, that wants a top 3 player in the NBA. You pair him with Jalen Brunson. You strike fear in opponents right off the bat. You have two of the best players on the court, and you just go from there. And again, it depends what you keep. You keep Mikal, and you just go from there. I mean, Mitchell Robinson's on an expiring deal, so that's something to watch. But hey. I'm just a guy with a mic, man. So here we have it. The Bucks and the New York Knicks. Once again, appreciate every single one of you for joining me tonight. just because I want this done, guys, doesn't mean it's gonna happen. Like, but it's at the end of the day, it's Giannis. And the New York Knicks front office could be looking at this like, is it cheaper to get Anthony Davis than Giannis? And it will be. But a lot of people in the chat don't want Anthony Davis. They think he's a walking ambulance. And he is. Or you just roll with the group. I am just saying there's risk in everything. You take risks in life, guys. If you roll with this team and they don't get it done again, it wasn't the coach, right? It wasn't the coach. Look, I'm on board with not doing anything. I'm on board. I'm on board with just staying pat, rolling with this team, but I don't want to come on here on April 29th or May 15th and the New York Knicks just got eliminated by the Detroit Pistons. I'm not speaking that into existence. And I don't want to come on here and say, we should have got Giannis. Right? That's what I don't want to do. I'm not predicting that, but I don't want to do that. And I don't think that will happen. So let's trade Cat to Milwaukee. Let's trade Giannis to the New York Knicks. Cat makes $53 million. Giannis makes $54 million. Let's trade them McBride. And let's get, they're probably going to want us to take a bad contract. So that's why you would have to deal with Kuzma. Let's trade Kyle Kuzma to the New York Knicks. I got everyone fired up. Hey, I love it. I love it, though. We got a game tonight, ladies and gentlemen. We got a game in like an hour and a half, and the New York Knicks should smack the Hornets. But if they don't, I don't know. Like, that's how weird this team has been. So, I am keeping, they're going to want one of the wings, man. They're going to want one of the wings. They are. I don't even know if that makes it work. Like, that is such, Cat and OG combined, that's almost $100 million right there. I don't even know, who do they have? They're not going to give up pretty much anyone of significance. Let's trade them that. So right now we have OG, Cat, McBride for Kuzma and Giannis. I don't even think this works. I'm just throwing shit at the wall, by the way. Yeah. I don't think that works. It doesn't work. Clearly. Cat, though, if the Bucks want Cat, then this makes it so much easier. Cat, OG, Kuzma, and Giannis to the New York Knicks with a bunch of picks. They're probably gonna want something else. That's the problem. Like, this is gonna be so hard for the New York Knicks to do, and this is a success. Cat and OG for Kuzma and Giannis. It'll probably be some more pieces around here, like Cat, OG. Probably have to trade him Tyler Kolek. A couple of the young guys. If you're a Milwaukee fan looking at this doesn't include all the picks, so don't laugh at me. But yeah, it's gonna be so hard, guys. It's gonna be so hard to get this done in season. So hard. Like, maybe they'll want Kolek. Maybe you get, Coffee back. You're going to want his brother to make him happy. Right? You're going to want his brother to make him happy. No. Yeah. So once these guys can be trade eligible, this could work. It says they can't be traded to the 15th. This is just, me spitballing here. But it's gonna that's if you want to trade Cat and OG and somebody else for Giannis. Again, it's gonna be super hard. It's almost impossible to get this done. Almost impossible. But if the Knicks want to get it done, I think they do have the resources and they do have the front office to get this done. So once again, appreciate you guys in the chat. Smash the like button. Knicks got a game tonight, ladies and gentlemen. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so already. Let's check that YouTube poll, by the way. The YouTube poll is up to 46 votes. Should the Knicks pursue Giannis if he becomes available? Yes, go all in. No, keep the current core. Not sure yet is at 22%. So far, yes, go all in is at 50%. We were just going through the trades. Now let's try a trade I don't want to make because of the way he's playing this year. So Giannis to the Knicks. Then we do Cat. First of all, let me see if this works. Let me undo this. Let's do Giannis to the Knicks. OG Mikal. Man, then you're getting rid of all your wings, man. Deuce. Kolek. Then we trade. Where is he? Where is he? Kuzma to the New York Knicks. I think Kuzma was going to be in the deal no matter what. Thanasis will be in the deal, but it's going to say it's failed if I throw him in there. Let me see if that works. No. It doesn't work. It doesn't work for the Knicks because they have to match. Because being in the first apron, you can't take back more money than you take out. So they would have to send more. Because 54 plus 22 is 76. So you would have to send more back. But that's with keeping Cat. Right? That's with keeping Cat. Now, if we keep Cat, and would you guys rather keep Cat and trade the wings? Or would you rather trade Cat and keep one of the wings? Preferably Mikal, if you were to do this trade. Right? Let me know in the chat. Would you rather keep Cat, play him at the center, put Giannis at the 4, put Brunson up there? Then your starting lineup would be Brunson, Hart, whoever starts at the whoever starts at the 2, maybe Shamit, Brunson, Shamit, Hart, Giannis, Cat. I don't know if I like that. I don't know if I like that. I need to keep a wing. Woody says keep the wings. David says trade Cat 100%. Just Rover says how about we keep our wings? Yeah. Elfigure says, by the way, there have been instances where Cat came through for us as a number 1 when teams have clamped up. Elfigure, I love Cat, man. I love bantering back and forth with you, by the way. I love Cat. Yesterday, the second quarter was frustrating. I'm just saying, I know I can trust Giannis in a pivotal moment. Like, I know I can trust Giannis with Jalen Brunson. I know I can trust him. Offensively and defensively. I know I can trust Giannis. Cat is hit or miss. Like, let's be honest. Like, sometimes he'll have a blow-up game like he did in Detroit, right? Where he set back 3, won us the game. Sometimes he'll get benched like he did versus Indiana when Tom Thibodeau benched him in the fourth quarter. Like, I don't know what version of Cat we're going to get on a night-to-night basis. With Giannis, I know what version of Giannis we're going to get, an all-time great. And I know what version of Brunson we're going to get in a playoff matchup, right? But, look, if Giannis goes to the Bucks and says, I only want to be a Knick, that works out for the Knicks, right? But if they start to get into a bidding war, there are teams that can give the Milwaukee Bucks more than what the Knicks can offer. Yes, that's the direction I was heading in, David. Keep one of OG or Mikal. I think you move. Yeah, look, Mikal has a higher trade value than OG and Anunoby currently. I would trade them OG and keep Mikal. Right? I would trade Cat and OG, and I'm not touching Hart. I'm not. If you got to give up Karl-Anthony Towns and OG and Anunoby, you can take whoever else on the bench, but Mikal is off limits. Josh Hart is off limits, right? And then you get a third team involved, and then you just go from there. But if I'm giving up OG and Anunoby, I'm not touching Josh Hart and Mikal Bridges at all, right? At all. But then if you do this, you're relying on Mitchell Robinson as your center. That's unless you can get a backup center in a deal, right? But all right, let's do Gershon, OG, Cat. Let's do Giannis, Kuzma. It's gonna have to be something else, right? Maybe you can get back like a veteran in Gary Harris. This Rover says trading away OG. There goes our top 3 defensive player of the year. Maybe you get back Prince, veteran, like someone to fill the gaps a little bit, right? To fill the money. Knicks are hard capped at the second April. Outgoing 98, outgoing 78. Outgoing 98, outgoing 78. The Bucks. Are the Bucks hard capped? That doesn't work. But I would do it. Don't, even though it says failed, it's because some of these players can't be traded until December 15th. So it'll be something like this, right? Something like this. Of course, I don't know if you guys would want to trade OG, but if I'm picking one of them between OG and Mikal, I'm keeping the guy who plays every single day and is currently playing like an all-star and an all-NBA player. That's who I'm keeping. Then you would have Brunson, Mikal, Giannis, and then your lineup is starting to fill out. Brunson, Mikal, Giannis, Mitch, if he's not involved, and then you maybe Hart, if he doesn't get shipped off. Brunson, Mikal, Hart. Brunson, Hart, Mikal, Giannis, Mitch. That's not bad. That's not a bad lineup. At all. Hart is still starting. Mikal's still there. Brunson, Giannis, then Mitch. So Giannis doesn't have to play the center. That's unless you can pull that off. I don't think Milwaukee would want that. Isaiah is in the building, ladies and gentlemen. He says, you go after Giannis. He's a top 3 NBA player. Oh, Isaiah. Bottom line, right? You go after him. You see how to get it done. But I don't hate that lineup. Like, you trade Cat, you trade OG, you trade them. I don't know. They're probably gonna haggle over Hart too. Whatever young guy they want, you trade them. Right? You trade them. I'm keeping Shamit. Maybe Daddier, Kolek. Then you get Giannis. Because don't forget, you're getting Kuzma. Right? Let's not forget that. You're getting Kuzma, who is not great. He's not great, but he's a body. Like, he's a body. So let's not forget that, right? Because they're going to want to get off some money. They're going to want to get off some money. Ryan Rollins is probably off limits for them. Gary Trent, you could probably haggle over that, maybe get another shooter. But if you were to surround a package over Cat, OG, and again, I know they're probably going to want Josh Hart. But that's how to get it done. Like, and then you give them your pick, swaps, the Wizards pick this year. You give them whatever picks they want, which is a scary sight, honestly, because the Knicks don't really have that many picks. But at that point, you're all in. At that point, you're all in. Like, at that point, you're telling us, like, okay, it's championship or bust. Like, Leon Rose is saying, all right, win a championship, otherwise I'm fired anyway. Like, I'm going to do this trade. They better win a championship, right? Yes, Kuzma has a pulse. He has a pulse. He has a pulse. Kuzma just went off against us, right? He's not good. He has a pulse. JV says Huck time, NBA chip incoming. Yeah, I mean, if you're going to start Mitchell Robinson, Huck would definitely be your backup. But Giannis can play center, right? But you don't want him to play center long term. You don't. Has had Achilles issues, has had Achilles strains. You don't want him to, play center long term. But yeah. Tony says unpopular opinion, but I like the squad the way it is. Not unpopular, man. You got a lot of people in the chat agreeing with you. Hit the poll. Kuzma plus Clarkson. Come on, runaway show. Me saying Kuzma has a pulse is not a compliment. Exactly. The easiest path to do this is with Cat going to the Milwaukee Bucks. And guys, I'm telling you, like, Cat is an all-star. Like, they're going to get an all-star in return. So he'll sell some tickets in Milwaukee. He'll be an all-star over there. But, you got to give to get. That this is, of course, if you want Giannis. You're not going to just trade Cat and get Giannis and that's it. You're not. I mean, the Knicks are hamstrung in the first apron. They are, restricted. They can't take back more money than what they give out. So, which is why the interesting part of this is Giannis wants to be a Knick. And that's the thing that's getting me, right? It's one thing if he has 5 teams on his list, but in the summer, guys, he had 1 team on his list, and that was the New York Knicks, right? I think he wants to play with Brunson. And you guys saw him in Brunson at the end of the game a couple of games ago. KO says Giannis plus Andre Jackson, Cat plus McBride. Cat, McBride, yeah. I keep forgetting about McBride. So maybe you give them McBride, Cat, OG. This way you get youth in McBride. You try to sell them like he can be your point guard of the future. Right? This hurts. Then you trade them a young piece in Kolek, who's appealing, right? You trade them Kolek, then Thanasis is rolling with his brother. Maybe you get back a Cole Anthony. Can't be traded until December 15th just for a ball handler, right? Giannis comes to the Knicks. Kuzma comes to the Knicks. And who did you say? A third team's going to have to be involved. It depends on if they want Cat or they ship him to another team for more assets. Tony says Giannis is a player like Wemby. There are normal players. If Spurs want a Cat for Wemby, everyone's saying yes, Giannis is that player. Yeah, Giannis is a once-in-a-lifetime type of talent, guys. He is 30, still in his prime. But Isaiah says, I'm a little terrified because I got the City of Jersey edition jersey for OG. I would be sad if he's gone by the time I got the jersey. I don't think this is gonna. I don't think. Do you think a trade will happen after December 15th? Like, if the Bucks and Giannis say, look, I don't want to be here anymore. Like, yeah, if Giannis tells the Bucks, I don't want to be here anymore. I told you guys during the summer I want to be a Knick, and find out a way to get that happen, to make that happen. They lose their leverage. They do. Right? Why can't we pull off a heist like the Lakers did with Luka? Why can't we? Like, maybe they just love Giannis so much, right? They try to bend over backwards every single year for Giannis. They keep signing his brother. They want to appease him. Like, he's an all-time great. In that city, he is beloved, right? If he is going to the front office and saying, guys, make me a Knick. I won you guys a championship in 2021. Make me a Knick. And that's their only, like, what are they going to do? Are they going to say no? Everything up to this point has led me to believe that they want to make Giannis happy. So if he wants to be a Knick, maybe they'll take less to trade him to the New York Knicks. I'm just spitballing here. But there's an avenue for that. There's an avenue where the front office in Milwaukee just says, look, guys, Giannis won us a ring. He wants to be a Knick. Let's just make it happen for him. And guys, I mean, if that's the best case scenario, or they can hold out for the most assets and make Giannis miserable, which I for sure don't think they want to do in Milwaukee. I don't think they want to make Giannis miserable and leave on a bad foot, right? They want to make him happy, right? So whether that's to trade him to the Knicks and take a lesser package, we shall see. But that is an avenue in where the Knicks can take advantage and only give up so much so you're not depleting your team, to pair Giannis with Jalen Brunson. Because at the end of the day, that's what appeases me the most, is pairing Giannis with Jalen Brunson. And Mikal, right? But it'll look something like, if you're giving up Cat, it'll look something like this. Cat, McBride, OG, or Cat, OG, Hart. They'll probably, haggle over that with a young player with a boatload of picks, get a third team involved. I am not trading them, Mikal. I'm sorry. I'm not. I can't trade them, Mikal. I can't do it. It hurts. Updated on the YouTube poll. So far we have 65 votes. Should the Knicks pursue Giannis if he becomes available? Yes, go all in. It's currently winning 58%. Would appreciate you guys voting on that poll. No, keep the current core. Not sure yet. Kind of reset the room a little bit. Woody says, F Giannis, I'm not ruining this team. Bye. Woody, appreciate you in here. Have a good night, Woody. Hope to see you tonight for the post game. But I'm reset the room a little bit. This is a tough trade to make right now. And Alan Hodd said on his radio station today that at some point, if you're afraid to lose Giannis to another team in the East, like the Miami Heat or someone like that, and then makes them even stronger, Alan Hodd said, at some point you got to say the hell with it and pair Jalen Brunson and Giannis and just hope that that duo can win you series, right? And with Mikal, and just say the hell with it. But the Knicks have to start getting creative. It's hard to say no to an MVP candidate in Giannis Antetokounmpo. It is extremely hard to say no. Jason with the super chat. Appreciate you, Jason. Jason says, OG and Mitch would be my offer. Take it or leave it. Yeah, Jason, I don't think that's going to get it done, Jason. I don't. I guess we're leaving that, right? I guess we're leaving that. Woody says, I don't want to see The Giannis brothers jumping around in the garden. Woody says, our team has moved so much already in the last 3 years. I'm good. I love OG and Deuce. I'm not touching them. That's one thing. Like, this Knicks team has made major trade after major trade after major trade over the last couple of years, right? But you have to come to the conclusion on how you feel with this current team. No one is dominating the East. The New York Knicks are not dominating the East. They are not number one in the East. They've gotten beaten by the Miami Heat. They've gotten beaten by the Orlando Magic twice. New coach, new system, still December. So come April, this could look like a totally different team. Yabusele is playing like hard garbage. Josh Hart's starting to turn the corner. They could just roll it with this team, and Chris Paul just became available. Signed Chris Paul, and as veteran leadership, even though I think he's washed, but he would be kind of good on this team right now as a ball handler and kind of a leader on this bunch. They could just go that route, or they could, dabble in the Anthony Davis sweepstakes and maybe just do a swap for Cat AD and just, ship off some picks to, appease the Dallas Mavericks, and they can just do that. This way you keep, I kind of like that, if I'm being honest with you, if I'm picking and choosing trades, like I kind of just like the swap for AD and keeping OG and Mikal and still having this elite unit. If you can get that done, I don't know. I doubt it. Isaiah says Chris Paul is not moving out of the West. Yeah, I agree. He has his whole family in LA. That's why he went there. Or you just roll with this unit, right? But there is risk for that. The risk is you roll with this unit, and I've said it before, you roll with this unit, Pistons get somebody at the deadline. They're head above heels over better of everyone. Another year of experience. They beat you in a playoff, in a 7-game playoff series. Then you're sitting here scratching your head and upset and confused and questioning the firing of Thibs and questioning this unit. Like, I'm just saying there's risk in that. Jason with the super chat says, if Giannis wants New York City, the Bucks have no leverage. OG plus Mitch. Yeah, that's a thing. Again, Giannis has all the cards here. El Figi says there's only 2 Knicks that have made the NBA's top 5 for last week's stats. One is Mikal, and the other is Karl Anthony Towns. Guess who wasn't there? Giannis. Giannis was hurt, El Figi. Giannis was hurt. El Figi, let's agree on this. Giannis Antetokounmpo, top 3 talent in the NBA. Top 3. Pair him with Jalen Brunson. In every single series, you will have 2 of the best players on the court. Right? Now you can say that with Karl Anthony Towns as well. But again, it's the consistency. Right? It's the consistency with Cat. It's the dumb stuff that we saw in the second quarter versus the Boston Celtics. Right? Love-hate relationship with Cat. I do. Like, game 2 versus Indiana. Tom Thibodeau, was it game 2? Down the stretch, fourth quarter, Tom Thibodeau's benching him because defensively, he's getting cooked. Getting cooked. And then game 3, he has the game of his life and saves us from going down 3-0 against the Indiana Pacers. That's the maddening part of Cat. And then the next game, it's like, what happened? Right? I don't have that with Giannis. I have some calf scares with Giannis, and that's a concern, but you got that with everybody. David says, we're a ticking time bomb with Karl Anthony Towns. He's way too unreliable. There's a part of me who wants to roll it back for one more year in the playoffs and then revisit this. Can you guys agree with me on that? Like, those of you that don't want Giannis, if the New York Knicks don't make it out of the Eastern Conference Finals, then then you have to revisit this. Then you have to do something, right? Do you just want to see it again for a second time and see how it shakes out in the playoffs? Right? See how it shakes out in the playoffs. See if we make it to the NBA Finals. Or are you already envisioning what's happening? You have your crystal magic ball in front of you, and you see the New York Knicks losing to, I don't know, the Cleveland Cavaliers in the Eastern Conference Finals, and you want to get Giannis now. Right? If I'm the Knicks, I'm kind of like sending a text to Giannis and being like, bro, man, just wait a little. Just wait till next summer, man. Just wait till next summer. We'll come get you. Steven says we can't wait to make a move next year. We will be in the second apron, from Steven in the chat. Woody says, can Giannis play with Jalen Brunson? Yeah, why not? Why not? Giannis needs shooters around him. That's when he's at his best, right? Won an NBA championship in 2021 with a hell of a team that, that was a hell of a final series against the Phoenix Suns against Mikal. But, yeah. El Figgy says, how did Giannis and Dame do? They didn't do too well, but El Figgy, but that team wasn't that good, That team wasn't that good. And Dame was kind of past his prime a little bit at that point. Wasn't the same. All right, so let's go through more trades. Appreciate every single one of you guys in the chat. Once again, smash the like button, subscribe to the channel, all the good stuff. If you haven't subscribed, make sure to come join me here in the chat. Smash the like button, subscribe. Let's go. Giannis, will he be a Knick? Or stay in Milwaukee? Here's the other avenue that I was looking at. So let's go Knicks, Dallas. El Figgy's not gonna like this either. Let's go Knicks, Dallas. Boy, Cat is just being thrown around like a rag doll, man. Sheesh. What did Cat do to deserve this? Cat to Dallas. Anthony Davis to the New York Knicks. You possibly trade him a young piece, Kolek, and maybe you give him a first, right? You give him a first if you can get if you can get a Najee, if you could find a way to get a Najee Marshall in a deal, maybe you give him a Deuce. This is a lesser deal, but in my opinion, again, this is my opinion. It's, this is why I'm live. I think AD is an upgrade over Cat. I do. Again, these are failing because most of these yeah, I mean, this doesn't work. Whoa, where's AD? The hell? What the heck? Trade to the Knicks, Karl Anthony Towns, trade to the Mavericks. No, Knicks are hard capped. The Knicks are taking in over 3. Okay, so let's get rid of Deuce. No, we have to trade them someone else, right? Let's trade them, I don't know, Pacome. Will that work? No, you're $611,000 away. Okay, so something like this, right? This is for AD. Something like this. This way you're keeping your wings. You are just swapping AD and Karl Anthony Towns, and you're losing a young guy, and you're giving yourself a more formidable starting 5, in my opinion, defensively, right? Defensively. But many Knicks fans don't want to do that. And Giannis is a prize right now, which is why we're trying to figure out ways to get Giannis. But it's going to be hard. It's going to be extremely hard. Yuri says, so we're really going to know what Karl Anthony Towns did in the playoffs last year. Okay. Good to know. No one's ignoring that, Yuri. Karl Anthony Towns 2025 NBA playoff stats. See if StatMuse even has this. Cat averaged 21, 11, and 2 assists in 18 games in the 2025 NBA playoffs. Really good games from Karl Anthony Towns in the playoffs. Like, really good games from Cat. And I'm not looking over this at all. Cat was really good offensively, but the problem has been defensively. And it's the dumb stuff. It's the Mikal Bridges is starting to get on Cat. You know, you see it lately. Mikal Bridges is starting to get on Cat a lot. And offensively, he's really talented, really gifted. One of the best rebounders in the league. But defensively, I don't know that you can have Karl Anthony Towns and Jalen Brunson on the court at the same time when the stakes are high and you need to stop. Like, I don't know if that's a recipe to win an NBA championship. Again, that is the goal. The goal for me is not Eastern Conference Finals. It would be great. I'll be happy, excited, celebrating. I want to win a ring for the first time since 1973. I want this Knicks team to win a ring, right? And when Giannis Antetokounmpo is available, you dabble in it, right? You dabble in it. Remember, a lot of Knicks fans did not want Karl Anthony Towns, guys. A lot of Knicks fans did not want Cat, right? Leon still made the deal and gave up Dante in that deal. A lot of Knicks fans didn't want OG. Still made the deal. Gave up 2 of our young pieces to get OG. Mikal was just picks, right? Just picks from Mikal. So Leon Rose and the front office have to come together for a nice big dinner with in a nice big room with, I don't know, 10 Knicks execs that work in the front office and have a big whiteboard and look at the Eastern Conference and say to themselves, come December 15th when everyone's trade eligible, or come February, if the New York Knicks are still struggling against the Magic, they're still struggling against the Heat or the Detroit Pistons, is this team going to win an NBA championship with this current unit, right? Because that's what it's about, right? That's what it's about at this point, guys. That's what it's about at this point. So 6'11", 7 foot, gifted beast. Appreciate you guys in the chat. Once again, the New York Knicks have a game in about an hour against the Charlotte Hornets. No Mitchell Robinson in that game. We are talking Giannis Antetokounmpo. Yuri says, I will stand by with whatever the front office does. Tony says, Mikal Bridges was the only trade that has been impactful for the team for years to come. OG was a coin toss because of injuries. OG, that trade has been impactful. When OG Anunoby was playing, when he was playing this year, he's playing like an all-star. Let's not forget that, right? Let's not forget that. Justin says, breaking news, Chris Paul officially available and should be the Knicks' #1 target as a JB backup. He would be a perfect fit for what we want to do offensively and defensively. But Alan Hahn brought that up on his show. He said Chris Paul will be a perfect fit. I don't, like Isaiah brought it up in the chat, I don't think he wants to play in the East. He is, 40, 41? Like, he has young kids. He wants to stay out West. Like, he doesn't want he doesn't want to play in the East. But he would be like what Brogdon was supposed to be, right? And you need those veteran leaderships in the locker room. It's valuable. I wouldn't be opposed to that at all. I wouldn't. And let's not front. Giannis aside, right? Giannis aside, this Knicks team is really good. Yeah, OG's not a coin toss at all. Giannis aside, this Knicks team is really good. But when I'm looking at the NBA standings right now, I'm looking at the Pistons at top of the East, who we eliminated last year in the playoffs, by the way. But they have another year of experience, and that matters, right? That matters. Like another year of experience in the playoffs. Who knows? Maybe they, make a trade for AD, then that bolsters their lineup. I'm looking at the Raptors at 15-7, who I'm not afraid of whatsoever. The Heat, guys, man, that's a team to watch, man. We already have 2 L's against the Heat. These long, lengthy teams bother us. That's a team to watch. And they have the assets to get Giannis. Now, I think that will make their team depleted if they get Giannis. But the Heat, they're good. And that was one of my sneaky teams coming into this year. The Magic. I don't know what to make of the Magic. I don't. The Cavs, they're real. Darius Garland's holding his foot every other game. I don't know what to make of Garland. I don't know what to make of the Magic. The Cavs. The Hawks are I'm hearing Jalen Johnson MVP talk from, I forgot his name, in the media. He's playing really well, by the way, Jalen Johnson. Hawks are playing better without Trae Young. Celtics just beat us, right? So you're looking at the East and you're like, I don't know. I don't know. Are we the best team in the East? Not currently. Can we be? Yeah. Right? We can be. But let's not forget, we were also dealing with some magic too in the playoffs. Right? Pistons series. Pistons, man. That was a tough series, guys. Tough series. Celtics series, we win the first 2 games, down 20 in both games. Then Tatum goes down. I still think we win that series without him. Then the Pacers series, game 1 is the end of that series. So we had some magic last year in the playoffs. And that's the NBA. That's sports. Sometimes you need magic. Right? But you're dominant at home. You can't win on the road. And one of your signings this summer in Gershon Yabusele has been a major disappointment. And you're hamstrung on what you can do. One Shot D says, I would trade OG before I trade Karl Anthony Towns. Elfiggy says OG played the most games of his career last year, and he's been out a few weeks. Yeah. Look, OG's injuries are always going to be a concern, as we saw a couple of years ago against the Indiana Pacers, where his hamstring just blew out, and that was an unfortunate. And Jalen Brunson, broke his hand, but yeah. Elfiggy says Celtics beat us without OG, without Landry, our best bench piece, and our best offensive threat having a bad night. Yeah. I'm not worried about the Celtics, but they beat us, right? Can't make excuses. I'm not making excuses. Cat is available, and he's a walking 20-12. You can count on that for 70 games. OG, you can count on for 50. OG played the most games of his career last year. One Shot. Most games of his career, and was really good. And when he's out there, the net rating is really high with OG Anunoby on the floor. He does so many things well on the basketball court. Justin says Giannis is a top 5 on earth beast, but what it would cost us to get him is way too much, and gutting the team for one dude isn't worth it. I say we get a backup point guard and keep what we have. Again, it's a risk. It's a risk. It's a good take. You know, it's a good take. But again, if Giannis goes to the Bucks and says, again, I want to play in New York, the Bucks have no leverage. Maybe we get Giannis at a 60% discount compared to other teams. Like how the Lakers got Luka for not free because AD is still really good, but how the Lakers got Luka. Maybe that happens, right? Maybe it's not a bunch of pieces for Giannis. I'm not holding out hope. I'm holding out hope for that, but we'll see. One Shot D says Cat and Brunson off limits in the Giannis trade. Yeah, it's going to be hard either way because the Knicks are in the first apron and the Bucks are reeling right now, guys. Giannis wants out again, and we'll see if a trade comes about. Any other news that we haven't got to? Once again, appreciate you guys in the chat. Subscribe if you haven't done so. Make sure you smash that like button once again. Here is the latest on Giannis Antetokounmpo. This is from Shams Charania.
With breaking news tonight on SportsCenter, senior NBA insider Shams Charania joins us now. Shams, what are you hearing about Giannis's future?
Kevin, sources tell me that Giannis Antetokounmpo and his agent Alex Saratzis have started open conversations and dialogue with the Bucks about his future, whether that's staying in Milwaukee or the realities of a trade to move elsewhere. My understanding is a resolution to this, and whether it leads to a trade request is expected to occur in the coming weeks. This is a Bucks team that's 9-13. They've lost 8 of their last 9 games before today's matchup against the Detroit Pistons. And remember, in the offseason, Giannis had concerns over the team's roster and its ability to truly compete. And fast forward now, the locker room, I'm told, can feel the tension at play with Giannis. Giannis, sources told me, has been frustrated over the losing recently, just as the organization has been with John Horton.
Giannis wants to leave, guys. He wants to leave. He wants out. He wants out. This is the story. In this story was a paragraph, right? Here's the paragraph. Move the chat over. It says, over the offseason, Antetokounmpo explored external option and was open to playing for one team outside of Milwaukee. One team. The New York Knicks. As a potential trade home. Sources described it as an exclusive negotiating window for the Knicks over a multi-week period in August. But that will not be the case moving forward. So is this the front office of the Milwaukee Bucks staying pat and putting their foot down? But they gave the Knicks an exclusive negotiating window in the summer, in August, and no deal. So either they wanted the sun and the moon, and Leon Rose was like, nah, man, I'm rolling with this team again. Let's change the coach. Let's see what happens. And we go from there. Or, the Bucks were calling Giannis's bluff and hoped that he would come back to Milwaukee and convinced them that that was a championship level team, and that was the case. So it's kind of fun knowing that one of the best players in the NBA wants to be a New York Knicks. We've come a long way, but again, this Rover says that means Leon Rose says get the F out. We'll see. Or the Bucks didn't want to trade him. Remember, there was 2 reports out there that said the Knicks thought the Bucks weren't serious about engaging in trades. And there was a report that said the Bucks thought the Knicks weren't serious in the trade packages. Who do you want to believe? I don't know. I would tend to believe that the Knicks would be right in this situation because Milwaukee needs Giannis. Guys, that is a small market. They need Giannis. It's going to take them so much just to, guys, they've been signing his brother every single season. They've been trying to bend over backwards for this guy. They don't want to trade him. So when he comes to the Milwaukee Bucks and he's like, listen, I want out. I want to be a Knick. And they're looking at the Knicks roster and they're like, we don't want to trade him, but, you know, give us this, give us that. They're unrealistic demands. Right? So it depends on who you believe. Do you believe the side of the story that the Bucks didn't think the Knicks were serious? Or do you believe the Knicks side that said the Milwaukee Bucks weren't serious and engaging with them? Take a look at this poll. 86 votes. Should the Knicks pursue Giannis if he becomes available? 62% says yes, go all in. Guys, you pair Giannis with Jalen Brunson and Mikal, and hope if you can keep Brunson, Mikal, Hart, Giannis, and Mitch, if you can come out of that trade with that starting five and, you know, with like Kuzma on the bench, you know, you try to bolster up your shooting, maybe in another deal, maybe you get some. If you can come out of that trade with that starting five, I say that's a win. I say that's a win. Now it's up to the Bucks. Boogie says Giannis has no leverage. He's under contract for at least one more. I think Giannis has leverage. I think the Milwaukee Bucks front office doesn't want to trade Giannis. Right? They keep signing his brother. They love him. He's their, like, he puts butts in the seats. He won them a championship. I think Giannis has all the leverage. I do. Guys, he went to the Bucks and said, trade me to the Knicks. And nothing happened. And then there were reports, like I just said, that said the New York Knicks thought the Bucks weren't serious. Maybe they are now. BKL Sportainment Show says, what's up? I just heard from those rumor and finally they know exactly they need to trade Giannis and take Giannis and move Cat to other teams. What's going on? D Nice says, get him now. Pause. You know what I mean.
Bruh.
Giannis
is becoming too injury prone. Decent enough players to get to the playoffs, this Rover says. Giannis, Cat, and Brunson is legit 90 points a night. OG gives you 6 points one night and 18 the next. Cat is giving you 20 and 12 for his whole career. Cat is a really good player. But I'm on championship mode, man. I'm on championship mode. I got my championship glasses on, guys. I do. Like I'm telling you guys, if the New York Knicks fail to reach the NBA Finals, I'm going to be disappointed. If they get bounced, God forbid they get bounced in the second or third round, I don't want to come on here and tell you guys I told you so. I don't want to do that. I don't want to say, what if this team had Giannis? I don't want to do that. But now what this does is puts pressure. It puts pressure on the Knicks to win. Because if you say no to Giannis, an all-time great, and you like this team and you stick with this team and it doesn't perform in the NBA playoffs and you get bounced again, that is a problem. Then it wasn't the coach like we all thought. It was Tom Thibodeau. You changed the coach. If I still see Karl Anthony Towns lazy on defense, I don't want to come on here in April, May and say, I want a Giannis. That's the risk you're taking by not doing this, right? Or you can be part of the fan base that just wants a perennial winner. We've been in the gutter for so long that you just want to see this Knicks team do well in the playoffs, win a couple of rounds, get you excited, and then we'll see. I'm not like that anymore. I felt that the last few years. I want a ring. That's what I want. Appreciate you guys in the chat. Going through some trade rumors once again. Big one, Giannis. Dis Rover says depth wins championship. This isn't 1996 no more. We just saw Cat lazy on defense last night. Yeah, look. Lazy on defense, but was dominant, right? I had one of my Celtics fans tell me that Cat is awesome. I would like Cat. You know, that second quarter last night was rough for Karl-Anthony Towns. So, Elfika says we already have an injury-prone player on managed minutes. His name is Mitchell Robinson. And that's another conversation for another day. But Mitchell Robinson doesn't look too good defensively out there right now. He doesn't. He looks slow. He's getting beat one-on-one. All he can do is offensive rebound, and he can't hit a free throw to save his life anymore. He can't. He said he worked on his free throws this summer. Where? I don't see it. I don't see it for Mitch. Dominant offensive rebounder. Defensively, he's been put on an island lately. Teams are attacking him. He's slow laterally. Jimmy says, Giannis wants rings. Knicks haven't won one in my lifetime. That's it, man. I just want a ring. I want a ring. And when I'm envisioning Brunson, Giannis with Mikal, I'm envisioning a unit that strikes fear in opponents. Right? Giannis is unguardable, guys. Unguardable. And when you pair him with Jalen Brunson, who was unguardable in the playoffs, I don't know. So, Mitchell Robinson is just a rebounder. El Figgy says, so let's cross that bridge once we get here. Once we get there. Yeah, look. Let's do it. OG Anunoby, I don't know when he's coming back. I'm hoping he's back, within the next week or so. There was a rumor out there that he'll be back versus the Orlando Magic game, but we shall see. But in order to get this deal done, if Cat, look, don't think for a part that Karl-Anthony Towns this year against the Milwaukee Bucks. I don't know. He's been more emotional too. There's a part of him who knows that he's in trade rumors. I saw him his dad is at every single game, supporting him every single game. But Cat has been he's been more grateful. He's been preaching that, look, man, I'm in New York. I'm loving my time here. I'm enjoying my time here. He's been more grateful. It kind of makes me think that he knows something. But we'll see. We shouldn't blow up this team just yet for one player. When is that going to change, right? I would like to see this unit again. In a perfect world, I would like to see this unit one more time in the playoffs, and I would like Giannis to stay put in Milwaukee, and then we revisit this in the summer, because then it'll be easier to deal, right? A lot of moving parts. I would like to see this unit one more time in the playoffs in a perfect world. But there's pressure out there when one of the top players in the NBA it wants to be on your team. Elvika says, we may not hang a banner this year, but we're closer than we've ever been. Yeah, but when does closer and we're close, and when do we break free? When do we stop saying next year? Right? When do we stop saying next year? So here we go. Let me do one last trade before I hop on out of here. Once again, appreciate you guys in the chat. Giannis, Cat. Now let's go. Let's go another route. Let's go Hart traded to the Bucks. So Giannis, Hart. Now let's go Deuce, Pacome. Giannis, Hart, McBride. This is the leverage play. This is the Knicks stealing Giannis. This trade, right? This is them stealing him. Let's go Kuzma. How much money is coming in? Outgoing 79, outgoing 76. So this should essentially work. Let me try this. Yeah. This is the package that you would steal him. This is a highway robbery package. You're keeping both of your wings. You're getting rid of Hart, McBride, Cat. This is the package that I would first go to them with and say, Giannis wants to be a Knick. We'll give you this with a bunch of picks. Let's go. This is the Luka Doncic, Anthony Davis package, sort of, with the picks. This is you stealing him. Like, if you can get Giannis and keep Mikal and OG, which I don't think is possible. Again, this is the leverage play. This is Giannis no, I want to be a Knick. And this is the Bucks just throwing up their hands and being like, look, we want to make him happy, man. We want to make Giannis happy. This would be that package. Because then your lineup would be Brunson, Mikal, Anunoby, Giannis, and Mitch. With you filling out the bench. That is a championship lineup. This is the offer I would be going them with first. With the picks. And saying, look, he wants to be here. You want to make him happy. Let's go. But it's losing one of those wings like OG. That hurt. But if you can keep them, I'm like, this is a no-brainer. Figure, this is a no-brainer. You agree on this one? I think this is a no-brainer. Mr. Papercut says Knicks have no picks to trade. Yeah, we do. We have picks to trade. We got picks. We got seconds. We got a couple swaps. We can get creative. We can get a third team involved. A third team will have to get involved. Mac Jean says, yes, I would do this as a first offer. D-Nice says Cat is way better than AD. Way better? I don't know. Cat defensively is not better than AD, but NY Chris says, hell no, you're bugging too much. This is too much for Giannis. I think this would be perfect scenario for the Knicks. I think this would be it sucks losing Hart, McBride, like, but you have to give to get one of the best players of all time, and then you're really starting to talk about rings, right? Because then you're keeping your wings and Giannis. Then your defense is all of a sudden like really good. Like really good. And offensively, you figure it out. Right? Then you have players to throw at Shea. You have, a night matchup nightmare in Giannis. Like, they have no one to guard Giannis in OKC. So, just Rover says Josh is not getting moved. Figure says we always give up for more than what we get. Give up more for what we get. Look at the mini trade. We offered Julius and Deuce for Cat, and they took Dante from us and gutted our bench. Yeah, but Cat wasn't knocking on the door of the Minnesota Timberwolves front office and saying, trade me into New York. That's where I want to be. Right? Cat wasn't doing that. Giannis is doing that. And if you have leverage, right? If Giannis wants to really stick it and swing it, SR Cruz says, do it now. Perfect trade with picks. This trade will be best case scenario for the New York Knicks. Best case scenario. Take Josh Hart out of that trade, my guy. I mean, you got to make it spicy a little bit, El Figgy. You got to. It's Giannis, El Figgy. Let's not forget that, El Figgy. It's Giannis. It's Giannis. Right? So, this was fun, ladies and gentlemen. Once again, appreciate you guys tuning in to the live stream. The New York Knicks have a basketball game in 30 minutes. I just wanted to come on here and go through my cat trades with you guys. I'm trying to see. All right. Ian Begley just spoke. So I want to play that for you guys. Smash the like button, subscribe to the channel once again. Here it is. Ian Begley on Giannis.
Knicks, Giannis and
Whoa, what is going on?
changed on the Knicks, Giannis Antetokounmpo front, even with ESPN's report that said that Giannis and the Bucks are going to meet to discuss his future. Still remains the same here from New York's perspective. I think that, number one, it would take a lot to get Giannis to New York. It would take Giannis really forcing the issue in Milwaukee by using leverage via his contract extension, or it could take Milwaukee working with Giannis on the way out. That seems a little bit less likely. From a Knicks perspective, they like their team right now. They like where they're at. 20-plus games in, they're excited about what they've seen so far. Knicks did make a real offer for Giannis over the summer. So far, Knicks did make a real offer for Giannis over the summer.
So if the Knicks like where their team is at right now, why would you make a real offer for Giannis over the summer? Those are the words from Ian Begley. Knicks made a real offer for Giannis over the summer. That's what he just said. So apparently they made a real offer for Giannis. They wanted Giannis. But now they like where they're at when they're fifth in the Eastern Conference and kind of dealing with injuries.
Let's see how this thing plays out over the next few weeks. And one other note here, Chris Paul, very surprisingly, parted ways with the Clippers overnight, and a lot of speculation about the Knicks. Chris Paul, I'm told that it's highly unlikely at this point for that to come to fruition, for Chris Paul to be traded here. Knicks, again, like their team, and that's sits as we...
No Chris Paul. Knicks like their team, but yet they made a real offer for Giannis over the summer. It seems like they don't want to break the spirit of this team. That's what it seems like. They're trying to get out there to the media. They don't want to break the spirits. No, you guys are not in rumors. You know, let us do our work, play on a court. But Ian Begley said the Knicks made a real offer. So that's telling me that the Bucks didn't want to dance with the Knicks. Right? We'll see how this shakes out. I'll see you guys during the post game. I'll catch you guys next time. As always, it is Let's Go Knicks. Knicks got to just win tonight, man. Just win tonight. I appreciate every single one of you in the chat. Once again, thank you for the support. Thank you on X. If you're over on X, appreciate the support as always. I'm Anthony from Knicks Nation. I'll catch you guys next time. As always, it's Let's Go Knicks. Peace.
Brunson a three. Bang! Jalen Brunson does it again!